Hey, today we're going to make salt cod with eggs and shoestring potatoes. So let's have a look at our ingredients. So we start off with 1 pound of salt cod. Now I've had this soaking in water for 12 hours, and you have to change the water twice during that time. You just dump the water out and put in more cold water 2 times during 12 hours. So there's our salt cod here. 1 big fat onion, half a dozen eggs, and a half a pound of shoestring potatoes. These are just regular out of the bag shoestring potatoes. We're also going to need some salt. First thing we need to do is we need to tear apart the salt cod. You don't want to do this with a knife. The results are not the same. You just take it and with your fingers, take all the pieces and tear them into, well, little finger-sized chunks or half finger-sized chunks like this. Doesn't matter. They don't have to all be the same. You want them to be more or less bite-sized. All the cod torn up into little bits. There, that's our last piece. Okay, next thing we need to do is chop up an onion. Alright, so we've got that peeled. We cut it in half and we want to chop it all up into fine little bits. So we have this great thing for chopping onions. You just put it in there, and that onion's chopped. Part 2. 1 finely chopped onion. So now we're going to beat 6 eggs. 1, 2, 5, and 6 eggs. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Not too much because that fish is salty, so we don't add too much, just a little bit. You're going to need a little. And beat the eggs. So we're going to start this dish once we've got everything prepared. We're going to use a large frying pan. Get that warm. Put in a nice amount of olive oil. That's not going to be enough. Let's actually put in a little bit more. You want to just barely cover the bottom of the pan with olive oil. And then our chopped onion, we're going to put that in. And this we're going to cook over low heat until the onion is transparent. We don't want it to get brown, we just want it to get thoroughly cooked and transparent. Alright, so our onion is nice and thoroughly cooked. It's transparent but not turning brown. So now we're going to add the salt cod. We've torn it apart into little bits. We're also going to cook this over fairly low heat. We don't want to cook it too quickly. Certainly don't want to burn it, so we keep the heat low. Cut in and mix it in with the onion. This is going to have to cook probably about 5 minutes. Okay, so you can see the fish is starting to turn white. Yeah? A solid white color. Now we want to cook this until it turns white, but we don't want it to lose the juice. I don't know if you can see there, but there's the juice from the fish. We want to keep that. We don't want to boil all that away. So when the fish reaches this point, we're going to put in the potatoes. And the potatoes will spread them over the top. We don't need to cook these potatoes. They're already cooked. They're crunchy. They're like potato chips, yeah? Shoestring potatoes. We're going to scatter those over the top, and we're going to cook them just until they turn soft. We don't need them to turn to mush. We don't want them to turn to mush. Just want them to get soft. So we mix them in so they start absorbing some of the liquid from the fish. Okay, so they're getting soft. They're not turned to mush, once again. They still have a little bit of consistency to them. So we're ready to go with the egg. This is our 6 beaten eggs here. You just pour that right over the top. Now we're not making an omelet here, so we don't need to thoroughly mix everything. I'm going to mix it in a little bit. We want to get like a scrambled eggs kind of texture at the end of this. So, I need to keep moving. So you can see once it's cooked a little bit below, you stir it. So we start cooking the egg thoroughly. Alright. Always keeping a low heat so we don't burn the egg. Alright, I can let that sit a few more minutes. Keep stirring. What we don't want to do is let it get dry. In fact, it's kind of a good idea to have the egg, better to have the egg less than done than too done, because the heat of itself will continue to cook it once it's on the plate. That's almost where we want it now. That's about done. We don't want it to get dry. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's put that in a serving dish. That's a lot of food right there. You want to make sure you serve this when it's hot. As soon as it's done, you have to eat it. 10 minutes from now, it won't be nearly as good. And this isn't a dish that can keep well, so you have to serve immediately as soon as it's done. So we've got the table already made. Everybody here is ready for lunch. All right. So this is salt cod with eggs and shoestring potatoes. A delicious dish. Buen provecho. What do you guys think? Do you like it?
It's delicious.
Delicious.
Yum, yum. Okay, say buen provecho.
Buen provecho.
Buen provecho.